I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be the only person talking positive stuff about this movie, but I don't really care about it. Um, so I just watched it a couple days ago, and like I watched it at Monday. Today is Wednesday, so I was just waiting a little bit for the movie to settle down on my mind before I actually did this video, just to like be able to properly organize the ideas. And I enjoyed that. Not really that surprising, but yeah. So first of all, this movie is gonna be for a very specific group of people, which is Silent Hill players, not Silent Hill fans. I'm gonna do the distinction between that in a few seconds. But so if you never played a Silent Hill game and your only knowledge of Silent Hill comes from the movies, you're not gonna enjoy this one. It's terrible. As like if you analyze it just as a movie, and if you forget everything related to Silent Hill, if you forget the movie, the games, and I don't know if there is novelizations of it, but if there is, and you forget about those, and you just analyze this movie, just as a movie, it's gonna be terrible. There is a lot of unnecessary flashbacks to it. The editing is very confusing, especially due to the flashbacks, because you're gonna be seeing a lot of them and like through the movie, and some of them can be quite confusing. Like there is no indication that some of those flashbacks are flashbacks, especially towards the end of the movie. There is one very specific one. I don't want to get into details, but man, that's what happens. The acting is kind of bad, so the dialogues also don't help. So like the songs are generic. I counted like maybe 2 or 3 songs in this movie that resembled Silent Hill 2 songs. So anyway, if your knowledge of Silent Hill comes from the movies, it's gonna be terrible experience, especially because there is some elements in this movie that kind of contradicts the previous movies, mostly the red pyramid thing. If you play the games, or like you have some knowledge of Silent Hill games, you know that the pyramid head showed up for the first time on Silent Hill 2, and then due to its popularity, they decided to implement Pyramid Head on other games, and then the movie came out, and the Pyramid Head was already this established monster in Silent Hill, and it's not gonna be Silent Hill if you don't have the Pyramid Head. So they introduced the Pyramid Head to the movies, the first and second movie, even though the games the movie were based on didn't have that. The issue is, if your knowledge comes from the movie, you don't know that. You don't know that the Pyramid Head showed up for the first time on the second movie, and the lore of this monster is very close to Silent Hill 2. Like the appearance of this monster, how the Pyramid Head is portrayed, comes directly from some themes of Silent Hill 2 game. And the issue is that I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to properly explain this, but the issue is that if you only watch the movies, you understand Pyramid Head as this monster that exists in Silent Hill. And now Return to Silent Hill comes, and it says no, the Pyramid Head is this very specific monster that is closely tied to this one character, and I can see like that causing some confusion. So all of that to say, if your knowledge comes from the movies and you have never played the game, or you have never searched about the story, you're gonna hate this movie. It's a pretty bad movie. And even if you enjoy bad movies like myself, I don't think you're gonna enjoy this one. So the movie is not for those people. It's not for that group of people. It's also not for fans of Silent Hill. And now I'm gonna do the distinction. There is Silent Hill players and Silent Hill fans. If you play the games, you're a Silent Hill player. If you already made a deep dive into the lore, and if you like watched video essays talking about the lore of Silent Hill, and you discuss the lore with other people, you're a Silent Hill fan. There is another thing, like, to make it easier to understand. Do you know the circumcision theory? If so, if you know about the circumcision theory, you are a Silent Hill fan. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're a Silent Hill player. So I think that's a good way to put this. You know about the Silent Hill circumcision theory, you're a fan. If you don't, you're a player. And if you're a fan of Silent Hill, you're not gonna enjoy this movie. Because the fan base of Silent Hill is terrible. And I'm not sure how I'm gonna schedule these videos, but there is a video that I'm gonna record just after this one, because I have some time now, where I'm gonna talk about the X franchise fanbase. And I'm gonna go into a better dive into the Silent Hill fanbase in that video. But long story short, the Silent Hill fanbase is terrible because they will overanalyze things. I guess part of the blame, we can put part of the blame on the fact that it's a very old franchise and the fanbase, Silent Hill fans, only take into account the 4 first games, and everything that came after that is considered trash. So it's like about 20 years since the last quote-unquote good game. So the fans overanalyzed those 4 first games. And then everything that is even remotely different from the games will be heavily criticized. So if you're a Silent Hill fan, this movie is also not for you. Because you will not be able to you're not gonna be able to like forget the lore that you know just to enjoy this movie. But if you're a player, I say there is a chance of you enjoying this one. Also, if you come with low expectations, which, again, I'm gonna go off on a tangent. If you had high expectations for this movie, I'm gonna blame you for not enjoying it, because there has been a lot of signs that this movie would suck. Like, it's the same director of the first movie, and like, sure, the first movie is good, but it's not a good adaptation. Which are 2 completely different things. You can enjoy it as a standalone movie, but if you compare it to the game, you're gonna have a hard time, because it's not a good adaptation. It's just a good movie. But anyway, low expectations. And that's how I went to the movie, theater. First of all, there was not enough people, so I don't think this movie is gonna survive that longer on theaters. I think there was like 10 people, around 10 people counting with me on the room. So they're gonna remove it from theaters like in a few days. But anyway, I went to the theaters with a very low expectation, as I said, because everything they released told me the movie was gonna suck. Like, it's the same director, the visuals of the characters are completely different from the visuals from the game. There was, of course, that trailer that they released. They released a movie trailer, I don't know, 1 year ago, and then they just removed the trailer from the internet, or they tried to, because once something gets posted on the internet, it's there forever. Which was kind of odd. Like, they released this trailer, and then a couple days later they just removed from the YouTube account. So you had to go to some really shady places to actually watch that. And that kind of raised an alarm at my head, like, why they did that. So I was expecting that they did that because they saw people complaining about it, and then they just like, okay, let's remove this to reshoot some stuff, re-edit some stuff, and then we can like release a proper trailer. So everything pointed that the movie was gonna suck. So when I went to the theaters, I was expecting nothing of it. Like, I was expecting the characters to jump out of the screen and just slap me in the face. That's what I was expecting. I like, if the characters just stopped and started to like talk about politics and just like do a lecture on politics, I wasn't going to be surprised, and I wasn't going to be disappointed because I was expecting it to suck. But anyway, talking specifically about the movie, the best analogy that I can think of is if you give a jigsaw puzzle to a blind person to assemble. So let's say you have a blind friend and you just want to do a joke, and you buy him a jigsaw puzzle, and you give him that jigsaw puzzle as a gift, and he decides to, for whatever reason, to try to assemble that. After a couple of hours, the puzzle will be finished. And the thing is, every piece of the jigsaw puzzle will be there. The problem is that it was assembled by a blind guy, so everything will be at the wrong spot. And some of the pieces will be, of course, flipped on the backside. That's how I see this movie. Okay, I had to do a quick pause to check on the cats because I heard a noise. Anyway, jigsaw puzzle. That's how I see the movie. It's a jigsaw puzzle that got assembled by a blind guy. So let me give you an example. When you first play the game and it's your first playthrough, the first weapon you're gonna get is a wooden plank with a couple nails sticking out of it. You're gonna go to this specific place where James, your character, will see a monster, and then he will look around and grab the first thing he sees to defend himself. And the first thing he sees is this wooden plank with the nails sticking out of it. That's your first weapon when you play the game for the first time. When you go to the movie, the first weapon that James gets is a piece of steel. Like, it's a steel, it's a iron tube. It's a iron cylinder. That's his first weapon. So he will go to the same place that James goes in the game. He will see the same monster, and he will react in the same way. He will look around and grab the first thing he sees. In the game is the wooden plank. In the movie is this steel tube. Now, a couple minutes later, James sees a lot of monsters, and he decides to run away. Instead of fighting the monsters, he runs away, and he gets inside this building, and he tries to barricade the door to prevent the monsters from getting inside. And to barricade the door, he again looks around and he grabs the first thing he sees. And the first thing he sees is a wooden plank with a couple nails sticking out of it. And he uses that to barricade the door and prevent the monsters from getting inside. And that's what I meant by it's a jigsaw puzzle assembled by a blind guy. The wooden plank with a couple nails sticking out of it is there. It's just on the wrong place. And this happens with a couple other stuff in this game. Like again, the second melee weapon that you get is a iron tube, which is on the movie. It's on the movie twice. It's first on this scene that I just described, and then later on, James will get another iron tube, but this time he will rip the arm of a wheelchair, which is not what happens in the game. I don't remember correctly, but I think it's on a car. It's somewhere near a car, and he just grabs the pipe from I don't remember if he grabs a pipe from the car or if the pipe is somewhere around the car. But either way, that's what happens in the game. And then on the movie, you also have the pipe, but he gets it from somewhere else. Maria dies on the movie, just like the game, but she dies in a different way. Kind of. Both on the game and on the movie, she gets stabbed by Pyramid Head, but this happens on a different location. Then there is like some specific monsters, like there is this monster called the Abstract Daddy, I think. Again, he is in the movie just like he is in the game. Like, it's the same appearance. And I got baited so hard at that moment because like the movie was really terrible. I was still laughing at it because of these differences, but when we got to this moment, it's exactly like the game. But then the way that James defeats the Abstract Daddy and what Abstract Daddy represents is completely different from the game. So again, it's everything is in there. It's just on the wrong place. Another thing, on the game, you can see corpses around the city, and those corpses look exactly like James. Those corpses are exactly the same model as your character. There is some theories behind that, but I don't really want to get into that. But everything you need to know is that there is these corpses, and they look just like your character. They look just like James. And again, that is in the movie, but at the wrong place. Like, on the game, there is this character called Eddie, and Eddie is a totally different person from James. Eddie is... I don't know how to explain this better, but there is James and there is Eddie. They are different persons. In the movie, they are the same. Eddie is just a part of James' mind. And you see that just looking at Eddie, you can see that he resembles James. Like he is kind of similar to James. I'm not really sure if it's the same actor. At least on IMDb, it shows as being different persons, but I know I'm terrible. I'm terrible at identifying people. Like, I was watching The Princess Bride, and I didn't realize that the Dread Pirate Roberts and Wesley were the same person. That's how good I am at identifying and distinguishing faces. So at least for me, James and Eddie in the movie, they look exactly like the same person. So again, it's the same element from the game. Like on the game, you'll see corpses that look like James, and in the movie, you will see again other people that look like James. It's just that the place is completely wrong. On the game, it's just corpses lying around the city, and on the movie, the element that looks like James is Eddie, which in the game is a totally different person. And the same happens with Mary. James goes to Silent Hill to look for his wife because she's dead, but then he received a letter from her. So he's like, okay, maybe she's not dead for whatever reason, or like for whatever reason she came back. So I'm gonna look for her. And then on the game, there is three different women. There is Mary. There is four different women. There is Mary. There is Maria. There is Angela, and there is Laura. All four of them are completely different people. Kind of, but I don't want to get into details of Mary and Maria. So let's just say they are four completely different people. On the movie, they decided to make all of them be the same, and it's just different parts of Mary's mind. Like Angela is the part of Mary that got abused by her dad. Laura is the part of Mary's mind that is a child. I can't like find a way to explain Maria, but that's the idea. All four of those women are the same, but it's just like different stages or different parts of Mary's mind. So again, it's kind of what we get in the game. For James, like there is a bunch of corpses around that looks like James, and then in the movie, the same happens for Mary. There is all these characters that look like Mary. So again, it's a jigsaw puzzle assembled by a blind guy. With Pyramid Head, there is kind of the same, because on the game, Pyramid Head is a creation of Silent Hill based on aspects of James' mind. But then for the movie, they just straight up say that it's James underneath the pyramid helmet, the pyramid-shaped helmet. And I find that funny. I really enjoyed the movie because of that. I was like, during the entirety of the movie, I was just looking at these different things that they did. Don't get me wrong, it sucked. It was terrible to see those differences, but I still managed to find enjoyment out of it. I still managed to look at it and laugh about it. Laugh off it. And if you are able to do that, there is a high chance that you're gonna enjoy this movie. If you don't take it seriously, it's one of those movies. If you don't take it seriously, it can be one of those movies that it's so bad it gets good. But then you need to be part of this very specific group of people that I mentioned. Like, if you have no knowledge of Silent Hill, you're gonna hate this movie. If you have a lot of knowledge of Silent Hill, you're also gonna hate this movie. But if you somehow in the in-between, like you played the games 1 or 2 times, you never did a deep dive into the lore, and you enjoy bad movies, maybe you can find this one fun. Maybe you can find a way to laugh about this movie. And that's what I wanted to talk about. It's one of those movies that it's so bad it gets good.